You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of Noise Media Network, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County and beyond. Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Good morning, all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land, all of my friends around the world. It's a beautiful day here in Gwinnett County. I'm a little bit late. I'm like 5 minutes late because my throat is sore, and I've been running around trying to find a throat lozenge. Now, what's crazy is normally I have bags and bags of those sitting around my house, and I honestly can't find not one bag. And I'm like, I know I got cough drops and throat lozenges, but I can't find any. And it was crazy. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to be late. But I was able to find, my husband has these little sour candies, and he keeps them on the side of his bed. And so I was able to find an apple, extreme sour apple, and I got my water. So just in case, so my voice is a little bit scratchy, and I'm a little bit sore. So it won't be a long show today. Today is Talk Business Tuesday, and I'm going to be talking about, why I think it's important and for you to start your own local newsletter, your own local news site, your own local news podcast is really important. And that's what I want to talk about. I've talked about newsletters before. I've talked about podcasts before. But I feel like this was a topic that I need to talk about again because it's so important that we understand that when we control our own media, we control our own narrative. And that's so important. So it's a beautiful day here in Gwinnett County. Right now it's 80 degrees, going up to a high of 92 with a chance of showers once again. We had a rainy day yesterday. We're going to have a little bit, some rain. It's supposed to rain all the way through next week. But it is what it is. You can't change that. So for those of you who have been listening to the show for a long time, I have recorded now about 1,100 episodes of this show. I've been in media for 24 years. I have a newsletter. I have a news site. Good Morning Gwinnett is a podcast and a news site. I also have Gwinnett Morning Spark and a bunch of other media platforms that I have. And I'm launching, what's crazy is I'm launching 2 more. And the reason that I'm launching a new newsletter and a new podcast is because I understand the importance of controlling the narrative of the stories that I want to tell. I understand the importance of sharing my experience as a business owner with you guys. I understand the importance of that. I can get around all of the fluff. I can get around all of the mess that's been put out in the world. And you can too. So this is not about me. This is really about you today. This is about you sharing your message, uplifting your community, creating a path for people to follow based on the narrative in your community. You live in your community. You. I don't live in your community. I live in Gwinnett. So I can only speak to Gwinnett, but you live in your community. And here's the thing about starting a newsletter or a podcast. When I tell you the financial layout is so small, it's so small. Like you can literally go out and sell something on Facebook Marketplace and make the money to cover the cost of your newsletter and your podcast. And I give you a prime example. I've sold one thing on Facebook Marketplace. Now, what's interesting is my husband had bought a hot dog cart, a huge one, a commercial hot dog cart, back in 2018. He wanted to go into the hot dog business. Now, he works in pharmaceutical. He's a pharmaceutical engineer, and he's been doing that for years. But he was like, I want to retire. I want to do this hot dog thing. And I was like, great. So me being the person that I am, I did everything. I said that I registered the business for him. I created a website for him. I ordered business cards. I ordered t-shirts. I ordered hats. I created the stand-up menu. I created all of I did everything. All he had to do was launch. I literally did the whole thing. All he had to do was say, okay, let me find a location and launch. So he bought the hot dog cart in 2018. We took the hot dog cart out one time, I think in 2021. 20 or 21. It was cold. It was April. I want to say it was 20 or 21. It might have been 20. Took the hot dog cart out one time, made over $800 in that one day. We were out there for about 6 hours. He made $800. He never took the hot dog cart out again. So for the next 4 years, I think it was 20. For the next 4 years, the hot dog cart just sat in the garage, taking up all of the garage. Like we couldn't put anything in the garage. The cars definitely couldn't fit in the garage. So it got down to the point earlier this year where I said, look, we got to sell this. Like you're not going to do anything with it. We need to sell it. So I had heard people selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to understand when you start to think about the money that it's going to cost you to start a newsletter or a podcast or both, it's nothing. And you can find something on the street. And I'm gonna tell you why. So we went on Facebook Marketplace. I said, we need to sell it. We need to put it out there. I put it on Facebook Marketplace for $2,500. People were hitting me up left and right. I was like, oh my God, I had never seen anything like it. I was like, oh my God, this thing is going to sell. So one young man hit me up from Alabama. He's like, I want it. I said, well, send me a $250 deposit, Cash App. He said, okay. He sent the Cash App right now. I took it off the marketplace and I was like, it's non-refundable because it's a 25. And I had people right here in the state of Georgia. Like, I wanted, this guy sent the deposit, like, hold it, it's mine. He drove here that day and hitched it to his truck and pulled it all the way back to Alabama. And I said to him, you gonna pull it just like that? That's a long way. He's like, yeah, I've done this before. $2,500 on Facebook Marketplace. Now, why am I sharing that story? Because my next part of this story is even better. That was a good buy. My husband and I were driving down the street, right? We saw these green chairs on the side of the road. They looked to be in great condition. And I said to my husband, we need to put them on Marketplace, right? Just driving down the street. They look great. He went back. He put them in his truck, in his car. He came home. He shampooed them. They look amazing. Put them on Facebook Marketplace. First, I put them on for $700 because they're really nice chairs. It's 3 of them. And nobody bid. But I also told them they needed to leave a deposit. So it stayed up for about 2 weeks. Nobody bid it. Then I dropped it down to $350. I was like, okay, let me drop it down. Nobody bid. I dropped it down to $250. Somebody bid. They was like, I want to know more about the chairs. Can you send me the dimensions for the chairs? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, great. I sent them to her last night. Now, listen to what I just said. We were driving down the street. We saw 3 chairs on the side of the road. I know that sounds crazy. We saw 3 chairs on the side of the road. They were in great shape. The cushions were good. The legs on them were good. They looked good. We shampooed them up. They looked practically new. I took a picture. I put them on Facebook Marketplace. They were up there for 2 weeks at different prices. Didn't work. Dropped the price down to $250. Somebody said, I want them. Now, the reason I shared those 2 stories with you is because a lot of times when people think about starting anything, the first thing they think of, I don't have any money. That's the very first thing they think of. I feel like I need to go dumpster diving at this point because I'm like, wait a minute. Those chairs were on the side of the road. I told my husband, that needs to be my side hustle, just looking for stuff and remodeling and upcycling it, because that was on that chart. That cost us nothing except for a little bit of water, a little bit of shampoo, and some arm muscle for my husband to go out there and shampoo without. And we have a shampooer. He didn't have to like just scrub it with his hand. And they weren't bad, so he didn't have to do a lot of work at all. But even if he did, they were free. And now we stand to make $250 off some chairs that we saw on the side of the road, but they're good chairs. So when you think about starting your podcast or your newsletter, if money is the first thing that comes to your mind, erase it, because you can find something. I know somebody who used to sell socks on Facebook Marketplace, purses. I'm like, who would buy purses and socks off of Facebook Marketplace? They were making a killing on Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, wow, crazy, but true. So now let's talk about why you should start one. Then we're going to talk about what it's going to cost you. Why you should start a hyperlocal podcast or newsletter. Well, if you live in a community and your stories and your messages are not being told, you can actually do that. You can actually be the one to go out there and tell us. Don't get it twisted. Most communities have newspapers and newspapers and televisions and all that stuff, right? But they probably are not telling your story the way you want to tell your story. Good Morning Gwinnett, I do this show the way I want to do it. I've been doing it this way for almost 6 years. It is my show. I tell it the way I want to tell it. I talk about what I want to talk about. On Tuesdays, I talk business and tech. That's what I do. Because it's my show. And there are people who, believe it or not, when I look at my stats, my Tuesday shows rank higher than any of my shows, because I'm talking about business. Now, I want to talk about the community. So Monday, Wednesday and Thursday, I talk about the community. Fridays, I'm off. I don't talk about anything. But on Tuesday, I talk business and tech. Why? Because I'm a business owner who happens to love tech. And I feel like the wisdom and the experiences that I have learned over the years can benefit you, the listener. Just like me talking about this hyperlocal newsletter and podcast. Okay? So, it builds community connections. You know, a lot of times when you're the person, you're the face of your local media, people get to know who you are. And when things come up, they send them to you. There are sometimes I don't have to look for news anywhere. It comes directly to my mail, my inbox, and my email. Because people know that Audrey is a local news source. Let's send her the press release so she can run it on her news site or on her show, which is what I do. And most of the time, I just put it on the news site. Just like yesterday, I got an email from, I think, Partnership Gwinnett, right? They're like the economic development arm for like the county. They have a whole lot of big businesses coming into the county. They sent out a newsletter, a press release to me, and guess what I did? I rewrote it and I put it on the website. So when people go to the website, they can find out we got a new Japanese company coming into the United States and to Gwinnett County. They're going to be bringing in manufacturing jobs. That's on the website. That makes you a community partner. That makes you a community resource. That's important. And once people realize that this is what you do, you will get more press releases like that. Whenever that chamber does something, my chamber, my friend Derek's chamber, he sends me the press release. I put out press release. I put it on the news site. So good morning, and I talk about some of our stuff on this show. So we put it on the Good Morning Gwinnett news site, and I talk about it on the show. That makes you a community partner. That helps you tell your stories. You don't have to let people come into your community and tell your story. Here's the other thing. What I've learned, and this is a hard thing, but it's true. Most of the stories that you hear about your community are bad news stories. Let me say that again. If you go to a news source, most of the time you get a lot of bad news stories. Now, people like bad news. It's been proven. They like bad news. They thrive on it. I don't know what it does. It gives them some kind of dopamine hit. I have no idea. But the most of the stories are bad news story. If you want to put out good news, if you want to put out news about the senior services, senior centers, if you want to put out news about kids and what they're doing and how to help them and what events got going, you can put out a newsletter about anything in your community. You can put out a podcast about anything in your community. It's going to help you build connections. You can host events. You can tell unique stories that nobody's telling. And Gwinnett Morning Spark, which is my newsletter. So I got Good Morning Gwinnett podcast. I got Good Morning Gwinnett news site, and I got Gwinnett Morning Spark, which is my newsletter. In that newsletter, I don't talk about politics, and I don't talk about bad news. Let me tell you what's in the newsletter. When you first open up the newsletter, there's an inspirational message for me at the very top. And at the bottom of that message, it says, make it a great day. Why? Because I say that every day on this show. When you scroll down a little further, there's a table of contents about what's in this issue. Right? So if you want to bypass everything at the top, you can just click the link right at the top and go to the section of the newsletter you want to go to. But if you don't, the next thing under that is a longer inspirational message. It's longer. Then right after that is town talk. What's happening in some of the towns. So I scour the internet. I find out what's happening in some of the towns. I do a little small summary of it, put links in it, and I'm done with that section. Right below that section is Success Lives Here, which spotlights a business owner, somebody in our community that's doing great things. And our motto here in Gwinnett County is Success Lives Here. So you find that part. So Success Lives Here, right? Then right after that part is a section on business. Whether it's learning how to market a business, start a business, it's a section on business. And then right after that part is your money compass. And that talks about something in the money space, whether it be investing, insurance, whatever it is in that space. And then right after that, there is an ad. And then after that, it's a fun fact about Gwinnett, right? And it's something that I have to scour the internet for to find these fun facts. And I put a short fun fact about Gwinnett. And it's like the history of Gwinnett. I should put like the history of Gwinnett. I put it there, and it's there. And then right after that is ads. So it takes me about 2 hours a day, and what takes me the longest is finding the person that I want to profile under Success Lives Here and the fun fact. That takes me the longest of everything because I leverage AI for the articles. the new, and then, I forgot the music. So at the top, right after the message, is a banner that says, click here to listen to the new song. Every day I put out a new song. So there's a new inspiring song to help you kickstart your day. There's 2 messages before you even get to anything business or news. It's right at the top. Your whole newsletter could be just those 3 things. Inspiring message, inspiring music. I'm done. There's somebody I know, he puts out a newsletter. It's a minimalist newsletter. There's hardly anything in the newsletter. It's just real minimal. He's making, thousands of dollars a month on that because it's very minimal. There are people out there who like minimalist newsletters. They like them. So that's why they subscribe to them, because they want to get this small bite of information really quick so they can go on their day. Or they want to get this small bite of information really quick so they can do something else. So that is one of the reasons why you want to start a local community podcast or newsletter. All right, my throat is getting a little scratchy. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to go to a song. I'm going to come back after the song. We're going to continue this conversation about why you should start a local podcast or newsletter. Today, the song today is called Epic. I did it yesterday. Y'all know I'm loving these songs. I did it yesterday. Check it out. I'll be right back after the song.
Yeah. Hit the sun's on the rise. New day, open your eyes. Dream big, let's hit the ground. Feet move and feel the sound. Every heart beats a drum beat. In the rhythm of life, sweet and upbeat. Turn the volume up, break the silence. Dance through the day to fight the giants. This is epic, feel the energy flow. Leap in the net will appear below. Rise like the dawn, unstoppable, so kinetic. Every moment, every beat, oh it's epic. This is epic. This is epic. Spin around, let your worries drop. Each step on the beat, don't stop. Miracles happen when you're in motion. Life's a dance, a beautiful commotion. Every heart beats a drum beat. In the rhythm of life, sweet and upbeat. Turn the volume up, let your spirit dance. Today's your stage, take a chance. This is epic, feel the energy flow. Leap in the net will appear below. Rise like the dawn, unstoppable, so kinetic. Every moment, every beat, oh it's epic. This is epic. Through every high and low, with every sunrise our spirits glow. This is epic, a journey so poetic. Embrace the beat, life symphonic, truly epic. This is epic, energy flow. Leap in the net will appear below. Rise like the dawn, unstoppable, so kinetic. Every moment, every beat, oh it's epic. Happen when you're in motion. Life's a dance of beauty, move your motion. Life's a dance of beauty, move your motion. Life's a dance of beautiful commotion. This is epic. This is epic. This is epic. This is epic.
That's epic, y'all. Yes, listen. Let me tell you something. AI is scary, but AI is also a lot of fun. Because it can do so many things. So I just put in what I wanted. I wrote the lyrics for the song using ChatGPT. I put the title of the song. I put in a little bit about what I want the song to be about. ChatGPT wrote the song for me. I took that, I put it into a AI music generator. And I said I needed to sound like this, this, and this, and this. And this is what I came. And I like epic. I can see epic. I can just see people dancing to epic like this is epic. Yes, it's epic. I'm telling you, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Welcome back to the show. It's your girl, Audrey Bell Kearney. Today is Talk Business Tuesday. I'm talking about why and how to start a hyperlocal podcast or newsletter. Because it's going to give you the opportunity to support your local community. Let me say this, right? There are a lot of local small businesses, right, they're solopreneurs, maybe 2 people. But here's the thing. They're so busy working in the business. They don't have time to go out and network. They don't have time to go out and promote like they should in the community. They just don't have the time because it's just them. How do I know that? Because I'm one of them. So I leverage all of these tools and technologies to tell my stories. But here's the other thing. I leverage this podcast. I leverage my news site. I leverage my newsletter. I leverage all of my stuff to help my community. So when businesses become a member of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber, they get the opportunity to be on the show. If my members have a press release that they have to go out, they get an opportunity to send me that press release, and I send it out, put it on the show, on the platform, and I'll talk about it on the show. It helps small businesses more than you can ever know, more than they can ever know, because it gives them the opportunity to say, you know what, I need help getting the message out. I don't have the time, but guess what? Audrey has a podcast and a newsletter and a news site. Let me send this to her to put out. Someone sent me something this morning. They're having an event in August. Can you put this in the newsletter? Absolutely. Send me a flyer. I'll put it in the newsletter and I'll talk about it on the show. And so now you're helping a small business out who, it's just them. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to make ends meet. They're trying to grow it into something big. But here you go, the advertising and marketing person that can help them get the message out. And sometimes let's talk about money, because I know people are like, well, how do I make money with this? Well, a couple ways you can make money. You can do like I do. If there's a power player who wants to be on the show, they pay a power player fee. They want to come on. They want to talk about their business. They want to promote it. They have some success, so they can afford the fee. The fee is $997. I put them on for up to an hour. We talk about this. We talk about what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they got started doing it. We talk about all that. Then there's advertisement on the news site. For $750 a year, you can submit 3 press releases a month, and it's guaranteed to be published. Guaranteed to be published, and that's amazing. Because that's guaranteed publicity, and I will talk about it on the show. That's the crazy part. Like, I will talk about your press release on the show, as long as it's good news, and it's published on the news site. Right now, my site is averaging, and I just saw this stat yesterday. I was ecstatic. About almost 8,000 views a month. Now that's not a whole lot, but I was happy about that. I'm like, wait a minute. I was extremely happy about that. Because I was a little pissed off at Google, because I'm like, Google is messing up everything. But they, I saw a big bump in traffic. I'm like, great, this is wonderful. So when you think about monetizing, you can monetize that way. You can monetize by selling ad spaces and sponsorship on your podcast. You can sell ads in your newsletter. Now, let me tell you this. Gwinnett Morning Spark goes out every day. I want to put this in perspective for the newsletter side. The podcast side is kind of similar, but I feel like the newsletter side can be a little bit more understandable. With the podcast, I can charge per episode. So every day every week I do 4 episodes. If I want to run an ad at the very beginning of the show, when you hear the startup music, I can run that ad and say this episode is sponsored by ABC Company, and they can be reached at www. whatever that is, right? Or they can send me a 30-second advertisement that they already created, audio ad, and I would drop it in before the show. I can drop one in the middle of the show. I can drop one in at the end of the show. Those can all be different price points, right? All different price points. It's the exact same way for the newsletter. In the newsletter, I put out 5 issues a week, right? And I charge advertising per issue, or I can charge advertising per month. Now, if you do per month, it's great because it's a tiny fee. It's $2.99. Your ad goes at the bottom of the page for $2.99 a month. 5 days a week, someone is promoting your stuff. Listen to what I just said. 5 days a week for $299 a month. Someone is promoting you. Because I put out a newsletter every day, 5 days a week. $299 is a wonderful investment. Here's the thing. If you feel like you can't make the investment, go sell something on Facebook Marketplace. I'm just trying to help you out. So you make money by selling ads in your newsletter. You make money by selling ads on your podcast. The other thing you can do is I have books on Amazon. So in all of my episodes, there's a link back to Amazon for something. Because I'm an Amazon associate. I'm actually an Amazon influencer. So there's a link back to Amazon for something. If someone clicks that link, I earn money. Like clockwork, Amazon send me my money in a bunch of different payments every month. It's like a whole stack of like 12. Blah, blah, money from Amazon. And every time I see multiple direct deposit, it's Amazon. And that's because I'm promoting my Amazon links in this podcast episode. This podcast episode is syndicated to Twitter. It's syndicated to YouTube. It's syndicated to Facebook. And LinkedIn. Is it LinkedIn? I think LinkedIn. No, not LinkedIn. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. It's syndicated to all of those platforms. In that description of my newsletter are all these different links that people can click on to support the show. In the newsletter, the same way, you can share the show on Pinterest, you can share it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and in there are hyperlinks inside the articles that I've written. And then there's also links to Amazon for books. Like there's one book in there on money, because there's a money section in my newsletter. There is a book back to Amazon. Now, I could have easily created some kind of digital book that people can just download easily, and I may do that. But I was like, I don't feel like doing all that right now. I'm just going to find a good book on Amazon and link it inside my newsletter. So when people read the whole article about money, they can change their money mindset with this book that's right up under the article. And that's money. So you can, and then you can sell merch. Like I have a course that's at the very top of my newsletter called Main Street Media Academy. I have that course at the very top of my newsletter. It's a banner. If you want to start your own hyper-local media business, click on the banner and go pay for the class. The class is coming up in September. I think we're going to push it back to October, but that class is coming up. You can sell your own products in there. If you sell t-shirts, whatever you sell, you can put it in your newsletter. So these are the opportunities that you have before you. You can, now what is it going to take to do this? It takes a lot from me, but I do a lot. You don't have to do that. I told you earlier we're starting a new show, and I'm starting a new newsletter, both with two partners. One on the show, one with the partner. And my partner with the newsletter, we already know we want to do it once a week, and she and I are going to rotate on how we do that. She take a week, I take a week. She take a week, I take a week. That's how we're going to do that. That's going to work out well. My other venture is another show, but it's video. It's 5 days a week for 2 hours. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. So I got Good Morning Gwinnett. I got this other new show that's coming out, this video. Good Morning Gwinnett right now is pretty much all audio except for when I have a guest. Moving forward, I won't have guests on Good Morning Gwinnett. It'll just be just like it is now, all audio. Those people will be rerouted to our new show that's coming up. And that's coming up in August. And I'll talk more about it after next week. So you see how this all plays out? Now, how much time does it take for me? How much time do I have to invest in this? Well, I spend about 2 hours. I spend about an hour a day, maybe an hour and 15 minutes prepping for the show. Not even an hour and 15 minutes, probably about an hour. About an hour prepping for the Good Morning Gwinnett show, right? Which means I'm scouring the internet for news and stories to talk about. The easiest day for me to do Good Morning Gwinnett is on Tuesdays, because talking business is like me breathing. When I'm doing the show and it's about news in the community, I have to go look through the news platforms to see what's happening, so I can come back and tell you about the stuff I want to tell you about. That takes me about an hour. And then for the newsletter, that takes about 2 hours. And most of that time is spent on finding the successful person to spotlight this in that issue. Also finding history about Gwinnett to put in that issue. That's what takes me the longest. And that part alone takes me about an hour and a half. Just that part. Because I'm looking for the people. That takes about. So it takes me in a day's time, and then it takes me an hour for about 30 minutes for the show. So Good Morning Gwinnett, prep time an hour, talk time 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So let's say an hour and 45 minutes, right? Newsletter, 2 hours. So 3 hours and 45 minutes, I have created 2 media platforms, and I'm good for the day. Now, that would be nice if that was all I did, but it's not, because I have other clients where I do consulting on podcasting. Because now I've been doing this for so long, of course I can tell you how to start a podcast and a newsletter. I've been in media for 24 years. So now I got people and I write books. So I have people that's writing books. I'm consulting with them on that. I got people that want to, I got a book that's going out to a client tomorrow. I have a podcast consultation on Friday. I have a website. So I'm doing, after I do the show, which would be nice if that's all I had to do, and I'm finished for the day, like do the podcast episode, do the newsletter. Oh, I forgot to update the website. So adding another 30 minutes for taking the articles and updating the website or putting out something on. So we talking about, let's say for the sake of time, 4 hours and 30 minutes a day is what I invest into doing my media company. And remember what I said, I got a newsletter, I have a news site, and I have a podcast. So I got 3 news platforms that I manage now that I think about it, that would absolutely be wonderful. If that's all I really did every day. Just did my newsletter, my news site, and my podcast. Adding the other two. So now adding the other two, we're going to add another, I don't know. One is just for a week. So, I might spend 2 hours on Tuesday getting that one ready, and then 5 days a week talking news. So both of those platforms are wonderful platforms. It's going to take time. It's going to take commitment. It's going to take you investing in your education, into your craft, into your industry. It's going to take some time, and it's going to take some commitment, but it can be done. And if you do it right, you'll make a lot of money. I ain't making millions yet, but I'm on my doggone way. I am. No. Now, how much does it all cost me to run this? Okay, so to run my website, it's $23 a month, right? That's my news website. It costs less than my newsletter website. My newsletter website is $39 a month. To run my podcast, if I didn't have such a big podcast, if you were just doing a weekly podcast, you could pay like between $12 and $20 a month. I pay $50 because I have a whole podcast network. So that's $23 for the website. That's $39 for the newsletter. And then $50 for my podcast. And then the internet, of course. So you talking about on a monthly basis, I spend $250 on the thing that I love the most. And what's crazy is as I talk to you guys, I'm thinking I need to go get rid of a whole lot of stuff because these are the things that I love the most. And so all of the money that I'm paying, I need to trash all that money because I don't need to be paying all that stuff because these are the three things that I spend most time on. And this is how much I spend. And I don't even think that's $250. I think that's right around $220. So when you think about that, that's all I spend. And here's the thing. You can go sell something on Facebook Marketplace until you can even go out and pre-sale list. You can go out to your community and say, hey, I am who I am. I'm starting this newsletter. I'm starting this podcast. I'm starting this news site. I would really love your support. And give them something small that they won't miss for just $7 a month. By the time you talk to 30 people, you're at $210 just to support your podcast or your newsletter. And that's based on the fact that it's up to $200 a month that you're spending. You may just be doing a podcast for $20 a month. And depending on the platform, that might be $15. You may just be doing a basic website, right? That's costing you, $17 on GoDaddy. Or you may say, I don't need a website at all, Audrey. My podcast comes with a website. I'm going to pay this $20 and that's all I'm paying. Because that's really all you have to pay. Like, most platforms will give your podcast a website. You don't even need to have a website for the podcast. With the newsletter, you don't need a website. If you decide I want to do the newsletter, let's say you went through Beehive and there's a link in the description to Beehive. If you went through Beehive and paid the $39 a month, it gives you a complete newsletter. So you get the newsletter and the website. You can check it out. Go to GwinnettMorningspark.com. 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 You'll see my newsletter. I don't have to do nothing but do the newsletter, right? And it automatically posts to the website. That's all. When I tell you it's great, it's great. So I have a website for the podcast that I don't have to do anything to but talk right now. When I get finished talking, my podcast is automatically syndicated to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm done with that. And then it's automatically posted to the website. I have a full-blown website, but if I didn't have one and all I wanted to pay was $20 and put my podcast out there, my platform Spreaker gives me a web page for that with all of the podcast episodes there. So listen to what I'm telling you. You don't have to spend a lot of money. $20. You can go Uber for a day and get that and still have some money left over for lunch. But you gotta want it. Now, where you're gonna spend the most of your money is in your education. Because if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, you can go out there and Google everything you can, but you want to talk to somebody who's doing what you're trying to do. You want to talk to somebody who's bumped their heads a few times and they say, yeah, don't do that. Don't do it that way. And this is why. Now, you can do it if you want to, but I'm telling you why it may not work for you. Talk to the people who are doing the thing you want to do. Don't just go out there, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm not paying for it. If you don't want to invest in your business, why would you think somebody want to invest in your news outlet, your media outlet? Why? Because you don't even want to invest in your own self. So why do you think other people, that energy that you put out is going to come back to you? If you don't want to invest in your education, you don't want to invest in your time, you don't want to put no money into it, why in the world would somebody put money into you? Ask yourself that question. We are so quick not to invest in ourselves, but you want people to invest in you, and you won't spend the money on your own. That's not me, because people know I spend a lot. I just said I need to go back and look at some of the things I'm paying for and trash them. Because in all honesty, the 3 things that I spend most of the time on is my podcast, is my news site, and my newsletter. And here's the funny thing. When I launch the new newsletter, I'm still going to pay the same fee because it comes with 3. The plan comes with 3 newsletters. When I launch a new podcast, I'm still going to play the same thing because my plan comes with unlimited podcasts. So that doesn't even change. What that does, though, is give me 2 more opportunities to earn revenue into my company. Did you hear what I said? I'm not going to pay more money for the newsletter. I'm not going to pay more money for the podcast. And here's the thing. I don't have to set up a website because they come with websites automatically. If I want to, because I want to control the narrative on the website, I can. But if that's not important to me, and what's important is getting the message out, I don't have to worry about that. Now, me being who I am, not that I'm a control freak, but I do like controlling my narrative. I will have a website for the new podcast. I won't have one for the newsletter because I love the newsletter website that comes with it. I don't have to do anything. I love that one. So I won't have one for that. For the podcast, I will. I need to control the narrative on that one because that's huge. And so I need to make sure I like the way it looks. I already like the way the newsletter looks. I already like the way it's laid out. I already like that. So that's a given. The podcast on the other side, I don't have a lot of control over that. So I want to make sure that I have control over that. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I wanted to make sure that you understood why it's so important for you to start a newsletter. And you don't have to. If you're not entrepreneurial, I get it. You don't have to. You don't have to start one. But if you are, and you want to you love your community, and you want to get your message out there, you want to get your story out there, this is a great opportunity for that. A wonderful opportunity for that. And there's so many great platforms out there for you to take advantage of. So many of them. And so if you go to the website in about 15 minutes, there's a complete article over there with a startup guide on how to get started. But if you don't want to just read, you want to go through my academy, it's mainstreetmediaacademy.biz. mainstreetmediaacademy.biz. It's in the description of the show. It's going to start in September or October. I haven't made it says September on the website, but I'm thinking about pushing it back 1 month because we're about to launch this new podcast. But anyway, it's Main Street Media Academy, mainstreetmediaacademy.biz. It's also inside the description here on the podcast episode, and it'll be on the website as well. And it's in the newsletter. Subscribe to the newsletter. It's free. You don't have to pay a dime. It's GwinetteMorningspark.com. If you want to get that spark in the morning before you kick off your day, subscribe to that newsletter, read my message, and listen to the music. Yes. All right, y'all. My throat is starting to bother me again. That's all I got for today. I'm going to go to my last song. It's called The Ripple Effect. And I'll be back after the song to give you my words of inspiration for the day. So stay tuned.
Wake up, it's a brand new day. Got sunshine on my way. Every smile that I share sends love through the air. A little act, a kind word, is the sweetest thing you've heard. Watch it spread, watch it grow, through every friend and foe. This is the ripple effect. Let's make a chain of respect. Good vibes like waves in the sea. Come on and spread it with me. Every action, a reaction. See the world in satisfaction. This is the ripple effect. Dance in the joy we project. Grab a hand, spin around. Feel the beat, love the sound. Every laugh we inspire fuels the heart's desire. From a spark to a blaze, kindness sets our hearts ablaze. See the change, be the light. Turn the day from the night. This is the ripple effect. Let's make a chain of respect. Good vibes like waves in the sea. Come on and spread it with me. Every action, a reaction. See the world in satisfaction. This is the ripple effect. Dance in the joy we project. Let's start with you and me. A wave of positivity. from the streets to the skies. Watch the spirits rise. One smile leads to another. Friend, stranger, sister, brother. Together we create a world that's truly great. This is the ripple effect. Let's make a chain of respect. Good vibes like waves in the sea. Come on and spread it with me. Every action, a reaction. See the world in satisfaction. This is the ripple effect. Dance in the joy we project. So let's start here, let's start now. Lift the world and take a bow. Every moment the effect. That's the ripple effect. Good vibes on this journey we select. Living in a ripple effect. Let's start with you and me. A wave of positivity. From the streets to the skies. Watch the spirits rise. One smile leads to another. Friend, stranger, sister, brother. Together we create a world that's truly great. This is the ripple effect. Let's make a chain of respect. Good vibes like waves in the sea. Come on and spread it with me. Every action, a reaction. See the world in satisfaction. This is the ripple effect. Dance in the joy we project. So let's start here, let's start now. Lift the world and take a bow. Every moment we affect, that's the ripple effect. Good vibes on this journey we select. Living in the ripple effect.
Welcome back. I think that's what AI messed up right there. This, oh my God. Every time I hear that song, so that was one song, and for some reason the AI decided to change the ending on the song, which I thought that was hilarious. And I started to cut it out, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to cut it out. I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to keep it in there because AI is good. It's not perfect, but it's good. All right, listen, guys, before I go, I wanted to give you my words of inspiration for the day, and here goes. It says, inspiration comes from within. One has to be positive. When you're positive, good things happen. Deep Roy said that, and he was right. Inspiration comes from within. One has to be positive. When you're positive, good things happen. Listen, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. A lot. And what I'm going to challenge you to do is find something positive today in your life. Put out positive energy, because energy, we are all energy. I know people don't want to believe that. We are all energy. And when we got more positive energy in the world, we can make things happen. We can stop things. We can put a ring around things. But you got to put out positive energy. I have been pushing myself whenever I feel negative, whenever I feel like people are bringing me negative energy, I quickly try to find my way out of that quickly, because I don't need that. We don't need, it's too much in the world already. We need to figure out how to work together to put out positive energy. So my challenge is to you today is find something to be grateful for, and to find something to be positive for, and to say thank you to both. Thank you is a powerful two-letter word. Two-letter, thank you. Thank you for listening. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you spent the last 43 minutes with me, and I love and appreciate you for that. If you miss any episodes of this show, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com to listen to past episodes there. Listen, if you want to start your own newsletter podcast, go to mainstreetmediaacademy.biz. 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 Sign up for the academy, and I will give you a brain dump of everything I've learned about these spaces, and you can do the same thing I'm doing right now. It's not as hard as you may think, and it's a lot of fun, actually, especially when you like me and like to play music. You might not want to do that, but I'm just saying. I'll be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m. God willing. You guys stay safe out there. And until next time, my friends, make it a great day. Bye now.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you like this episode, subscribe now and share with your friends. To learn more about Noise Media Network, visit noisemedia.us.